Thanks for joining me in this video. I've got another banger for you guys. Today I'm interviewing with Darren Shaw. Darren needs no introduction in the SEO digital marketing space, especially when it comes to local SEO. He's the steward of the local search rankings factor survey. He is the owner of Whitespark, and he's a veteran in the space. You are definitely going to get some jewels from this video. This is one that you will not want to miss. I wanted to ask you, Darren, what did you see early that made you so confident that local SEO was worth building a brand and a company around?
Well, that was easy. So I started as a web development company in 2005. And so we were building websites for small businesses. And I had this one client, it was this like multi-location hair salon. They're a big hair brand in my city, and they had like 7 or 8 locations. And they came to me because I built their website, and they were like, what is this thing on Google? How do I, like, if you search hair salon Edmonton, we get this local results with the map. And they were like, how do we get our business in there? Because they were not showing up in that at all. And so I did a little bit of Googling and researching, and I figured out how to do it. And so what I did for them is I just put I changed their name from Evelyn Charles to Evelyn Charles Hair Salon Edmonton. And I did that across all their locations. I just went into Google, changed their business name, and it was like kaboom, right to #1. And I did it overnight. And that company was like, oh my God, Darren, I don't know what you did, but you've absolutely transformed our business. We have so many calls, new customers coming in. And so I was this major hero, and I was like, this local search thing, this is pretty good for businesses. And so then I just really became obsessed with it at that point. And I started researching it and really focusing on local for small businesses was just my thing, because I was building websites for small businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, and back then things were a lot different than they are now. Like you said, you just changed one thing, and sometimes changing one thing still helps significantly, to be honest.
Keywords in the business name, that one still works a treat. So yeah, it's crazy actually how some of these things have a big impact. These days, Google's a little bit better at like suspending profiles for breaking the rules like that. But it's still as exciting as it was 20 years ago. Still get to have that really positive impact for businesses when we improve their local search. And so by doing that, we eventually then started building SaaS software, and we launched the local citation finder. And then we launched our local listing services and rank tracking. And so we just kind of evolved from there as to just being focused on local SEO.
And with that being said, what would you say is something that you understood that a lot of the other marketers or SEOs didn't necessarily understand early on?
Oh boy. I would say in the world of SEO, it was a pretty niche community that thought about local SEO. Well, everyone in SEO at that time was really just like, how do I get my website ranking in the blue links? Google's 10 blue links. That was the main focus. And so this was a bit of a new paradigm, because you weren't ranking websites, you were ranking Google business profiles in the local pack and in the maps results. And so I would say that was the main thing that I think was a real benefit, to just be like, ooh, this is the area I want to focus on, because it helped me niche down. And I think that being so focused early on in my career really helped us to establish a big brand in local SEO.
You definitely have a big brand. I know a lot of folks, and I won't name, your competitors per se, but have moved from competitors to yourself. So, all right, that definitely speaks volumes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
another one. Yeah.
If you had to start over again today from nothing, obviously it's a different era, and you only had, let's say, $1,000 to invest into your business, how would you start?
So it's April 10th, 2026, and I'm starting fresh. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely. And you only have $1,000. What's your first move?
It was like we should make like a reality game show of like we just have like
Absolutely.
10 people. They have $1,000. Start a marketing business today. I would niche heavily. I would be really focused on one specific industry and one specific service for that industry. So that's probably what I would do. And I would still keep it service based, and I would have no overhead. It'd be, I work from home, I'm just doing consulting, and I would start like that. Because if I look back, that's what really allowed me to just launch a business. I was a freelance web developer. I could work at my house and make websites for people, right? And so I would say that's where I would start today. And I don't even need that $1,000. Just start for free. And I would just really niche down. I'd be like, all I do is local services ads for roofers. That's all I do. We are very specialized on that one specific thing. And so you might be niching today as all I do is AI visibility for dentists. That's what I would say.
Makes sense. Yeah. Appeal to your ICP and be very specific. Yeah. That way you aren't everything to everyone, but you can provide value to one specific vertical. So when it comes to SEO, I find that education and having the right expectations is important. What would you say a business or a person should know about SEO before they move forward to actually hire an agency or a freelancer?
Yeah, that's a great question, because a lot of businesses, they just end up with some shady, low quality providers that are just hacking stuff together. And actually, it's easy to get bamboozled, because they might tell the small business owner that we have a very special secret technique that we use. We hide the keywords in the geotagging of the photos. And so they'll like talk about these things that sound brilliant to the business owner, but actually...
Yeah, I remember that, the geotagging in the photos. Not to interrupt you, but...
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's my favorite classic example of local SEO bullshit. And so It's like, but the small business owner can easily be taken by that. So I would say that you should look at the local search ranking factors survey. So if you're a small business, you're looking to hire somebody, you should at least have an understanding of what the top 20 ranking factors are and what the top 20 myths are. There's a whole section in there for myths. So I would say, if you just took 10 minutes and looked at those two things, you would have a rough sense, and that would give you an idea of, red flags for if you're speaking to an agency who you're thinking about hiring and they say some of the stuff that's on the myths, then you're like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And then if they don't really talk about how they're going to help you with what's actually top 20 in the local search ranking factors, then that's also a red flag, right? So I would look at that, and I would say that's a good education piece for the business owners if they're shopping around for local SEO providers.
Speaking of the local ranking survey or report, can you speak a little bit about that? A lot of people don't know what that is. Can you go into what that entails? How it started?
Totally, yeah. So the local search ranking factors is a survey that was started by David Mim in 2008. So this is at the very beginning. It was back when the local pack was a 10 pack, and it was like 10 results. So him and Mike Blumenthal were kind of the very first people that were really researching how this worked. And there was a group of about 30 people in those early days that it was a really small community of SEO practitioners that were focused on local. And so he produced this survey, which was, these are one of the things that we think impact local rankings, citations, reviews, optimization of your categories and your Google business profile. So this list of factors. And then he put the survey out to all those people and asked them to sort them in order of importance. That's how the survey originally was built. And so then he would aggregate all of their answers, and here we go. This, based on what these 30 practitioners think, these are the most important down to the least important factors that impact rankings. That survey lives on today. It's been done annually until 2017, and David Mim got tired of doing it. It's a lot of work. And he said, does anyone else want to do it?
Now
And
you're doing it.
And now I'm doing it. And so big thank you to David for passing the torch to me. It is an honor to run that survey and to get to collaborate with the brilliant minds that contribute to that survey. And so now there's about 40 some people that contribute. And the survey is structured a little bit differently now. It's evolved quite a bit. I've changed things. And so it becomes the Bible, because you're taking the best minds. These are the people that are speaking on stages, that are doing the research, that are publishing about what's actually, they're seeing the impact of case studies. And so those people all contribute. And when you aggregate all of their knowledge into one resource, it really does become the Bible of local search. And so that's what the survey is. And it's a pleasure to produce it every year.
Absolutely. And it's definitely valuable for the SEO community and just businesses in general. So with local SEO specifically, as you know, within the last 24 months or a little bit longer than that, there's been a lot of developments and changes with AEO and GEO, whatever your favorite acronym is. Can you speak a little bit about how that's affecting local SEO and local visibility?
Yes. So local has been a little bit more protected than traditional SEO, because people are still doing a lot of business discovery on Google Maps, right? So they're like, oh, I'm looking for a restaurant, I'm looking for a plumber. So local results are still very powerful for driving leads. Whereas if you had a website that was all informational, the AI overview is answering the question. They don't need to go to your website anymore. Whereas in local, you still have a presence your business has a presence within Google's ecosystem. So they may not go to your within but you have a Google business profile that you can fully optimize and pitch and sell your services and present yourself really well within Google's ecosystem. And so people are still discovering businesses via the local packs and maps. And so it's still a very powerful lead driver for small businesses. There have been some changes, and we're seeing more and more happening. First of all, we are now seeing some AI overviews will displace the local pack, and instead of a local pack, you get local results in the AI overview. That is a shift that we're seeing happening on some keywords in a small amount. I do think that is like insight into a future model, like where we're kind of heading with things. Google is testing things and trying out what works. They really want to deliver value to the end user at the end of the day. And so the local pack is still maybe more useful for people than some results in the AI overview. But I see this shift happening where we're going to have mostly AI driven results. And you can see that in Google Maps as well, and lots of AI features. Google Maps has this thing called Know Before You Go, and Know Before You Go is like an AI generated summary about each individual business. And so they're usually pulling content that they know about the business from the website, the broader web, and largely from reviews, what people are saying. That's what gets pulled into that Know Before You Go. And there's a new feature in local called Ask Maps. And so that's where you can ask Maps anything about a business. Be like, do they carry these products? Where do I park? What are their prices like? You can ask Maps within the Maps app. And so that shifts the local strategy into give them all the information. Anything you can feed into Google is a really powerful thing and a really important thing you have to do. And you have to do that on your website, on your Google business profile, and out on the broader web.
Absolutely. With that being said, speaking about the changes with Google, with where we're headed, I don't think AI mode will be the default, but probably some blend of AI mode with what we have now, probably something similar to their web guide experience.
Yep.
Or experiment. What do you think the future looks like with Google? Let's say in the next 24 months, what will the general search experience look like, the SERP?
Well, with the pace of change right now, 24 months is a very long way out. Who knows what it's going to look like in 2 years. But I do think like an AI forward interface, and there actually may be separate interfaces depending on what you're looking for. And the interface will probably shift dynamically based on the query intent. If it detects that it's a localized query, that you're looking for local businesses, you're probably going to get a whole new interface. And I just actually expect that, if I can imagine what Google's building and with the power of AI to build these days, it's probably going to be phenomenal. It's going to be very tailored, very personalized to you, where I'm looking for, let's say, I go to Google and I say, my hot water tank has failed. I need a new hot water tank. Please help me find one. It's going to know everything about me. It knows where I live. It knows what my preferences are. It knows my budget. It knows my friends and who my friends are and who they have hired. It knows that my neighbor has used these people before. It knows all this crazy stuff. And so then it builds me a very personalized response that is like, well, your neighbor Judy hired these guys a year ago, and then she left a 5-star review saying this and blah, blah, blah. So here's your results. So I think everyone's results are going to become more and more personalized. And I think it's going to be, people talk about things, not strings. And that's where like this establishing your entity, your business, and really describing your business becomes super important, and the interface will be very personalized, and it will be AI driven. It'll be like not keywords. People won't go to Google and type hot water tank repair, but I think within 2 years, people will be like, actually, people are going to be like this. My hot water tank died. I actually need a new one. Can you recommend someone to come out and get me a hot water tank? And then it just starts asking you questions, and it refines it. And then it says like, oh yeah, can you point your camera at the space you have available for your hot water tank? It's like a whole conversation, and then it's like, okay, great, thank you. And then it gathers, it gets you quotes. Google calls all the businesses and gets quotes for you, and then it's like, oh hey Darren, yeah, so here's what I got for you. That's the future of local search. It's crazy. It's going to be very personalized, very agentic, and so it really changes how we practice the optimization part for our clients.
Yeah, and when it comes to search now, people are already, and have been for a while, moving towards, the natural language. I've had people ask me, hey, I searched this particular, term into ChatGPT, for example.
Yep.
And it gave me this response instead of X response. Why is that? Well, your ChatGPT knows you.
Yeah. You've
been speaking to it for probably months and months, and it knows your history. It's personalized, right? Yeah. And the same to a certain extent is true with Google. A lot of these platforms, they know who they're speaking to, right? So things have definitely changed over time. Let me ask you, I want to kind of circle back to the local search ranking factors report survey. So from my understanding, it also reports out and measures the impact of conversions, right? Not only traffic. Can you kind of speak to that?
So it doesn't measure conversions. What it does is so let's say we take a factor like review ratings. What is your rating? You're like, yeah, I got 4.7 out of 5 stars, or I have 3.0 out of 5 stars, whatever that rating is. So that would be an example of a factor. I actually have the contributors score that factor on a few different things. They score it on its impact, that factor's impact on local pack and maps rankings, that factor's impact on localized organic rankings, the blue links in local results, conversion factor, and AI factors. That's new, added last year. How does that impact AI visibility? So your star rating, as one of the 150 some factors that we track, is scored by 40 different people upon those 4 different categories. And so conversions is one of them. Well, how important is your star rating for conversions? That one is, I picked that one because it's actually an example of something that has a very big impact on conversions. How likely is someone to call you if your rating is 3.0? very unlikely. How likely are they to call you if your rating is 4.9? It's a very important conversion factor. So when you get 40 people to score that, they're going to score it high. Yeah, this is important. And so that's what the conversion factors section is. It's like, how important are these individual things for conversions? And it's a great roadmap of like, I want to make sure that my profile is optimized for conversions, so that people are more likely to pick up the phone and call me. And that's like, certain things are really important on that column of conversions because they don't impact rankings. Google posts, they don't impact rankings, but they definitely impact conversions. The product section on your Google business profile doesn't directly impact rankings. Great conversion signal though. And so that's why I have that extra section in the local search ranking factors, so that you're not only focused on rankings, because rankings are worth nothing if no one ever calls you. I might rank number 1, but I got a 3.0 rating and my profile looks like trash with terrible photos, no videos. It's got a photo of a cockroach on it. Like, nobody's going to call my business. And so that's why conversion factors have to be considered in the overall picture. And so that's why we have that section on the report.
And you mentioned reviews. Reviews are definitely super important when it comes to Google business profiles.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about how they affect Google business profiles? And for businesses that have very few reviews or no reviews, what should be their methodology of acquiring reviews for local businesses?
Okay, yeah. Reviews for me are like, if someone asks me, it'll be like, how do I rank better in Google's local results? I would say, well, first, number 1, you've got to get more reviews. And second, number 2, you got to get more Google reviews. And number 3, you got to get more Google reviews. And number 4, optimize your primary category. Reviews are everything. They are absolutely critical. And they're critical for 2 key reasons. One, they do directly impact rankings. Your quantity of reviews and your star rating will have an impact on how well you rank. If you're a 3 below, even if you have 10,000 reviews, you're going to be kind of buried. So, but it's not just the volume, it's also the recency and the frequency. This is a new factor that has really been like, we've become super aware of this in the last year or 2, that Google has cranked the dial on review recency. And this makes all the sense in the world from Google's perspective. You can have a business with 10,000 reviews, but if they haven't gotten one in 6 months, a business with 200 reviews could easily overtake them because they're getting like 7 new reviews per week. What does that tell Google? This business is hot and that business is not. And so the review frequency and recency, how many you're getting recently, that's really critical in today's SEO. So I think business owners and agencies need to know it's not just about the number of reviews anymore. It's how new are they and how often are you getting them? So that's why they're so critical. They rank very highly in the local search ranking factors as important. But going back to what we were just talking about with conversions, reviews are your greatest conversion signal. So first of all, if I see, I type in plumbers Denver. Okay, I've got 3 businesses in the local pack. One of them has a 5.0 rating and 1,500 reviews. The next one has a 4.6 and 27 reviews. And the next one has a 4.9 and 900 reviews. My brain is just like, that is obviously the best one. So I'm going to click on it, and I go to that one, and then I'm going to read the reviews. What are people saying? Well, at first I'm like, are these fake? So I'm like checking the reviews, trying to suss it out, determine if this is legit. And then if it looks legit, I'm like, yeah, well, clearly this is the best. And I don't have to look at any others. That's how people are making decisions in the search results. So your reviews directly drive the conversion. And then you get the secondary ranking benefit. Google is always looking for last click. If I click on a web page in the search results or a Google business profile in the local results, and then I never go back to the search results, I have sent the signal to Google that Google satisfied my query. And because they satisfied the query with that business is now gets a little bump. It's like, people like this one. Or if they hit a business profile, and then they go back and then they pick a different one and then pick a different one, and then eventually they stick on one. The stick is a really strong signal to Google that yours is the best business. And so when they come over, they read the reviews, they're convinced, they never come back to the search results. That is an amazing signal to Google that you're a great business, and that'll help your ranking. So conversions, rankings, all that, very important. I'll answer your second part of your question, which is how do you get more reviews? And so my favorite strategy, and I keep this card right here for these types of situations. I have two of them actually. This is called Leave Us a Review with a QR code, right? So this is from a Japanese restaurant in Banff, Alberta. And when the guy finished, he gave me this card, and I'm like, dude, you're using my strategy. I've invented this. So I was really thrilled to get it. But the strategy is the most effective, and you can use this in service businesses, restaurants, and any business in the world can use this strategy. The way it works is this. Hey, I hope you had a good experience. Would you be willing to leave us a review on our Google business profile? When you ask that question, 99% of people will be like, oh yeah, sure. And so they'll say yes. And then you'll be like, great, I'm going to make it so easy for you. I got this little card here. All you got to do is just point your phone at the QR code here. It'll take you right to our Google business profile where you can leave a review. And so then you give that to the person, and then they go home. And they go home, and then this sits on their desk, and it reminds them every day until they do it to leave you a review. So this is why this strategy is so good. It works so well because, one, you got the verbal confirmation from the person that they said yes, they would do it. You can also sweeten the pot a little bit. You'd be like, oh, thank you, because we actually are doing a competition in the company. Whoever gets the most reviews, gets a $100 bonus or gets a gift card for something, right? And so now they have like you were a really nice waiter. I want to help you out. I'll leave you this review. And so this incentive thing, and then the physical reminder, this is the number one most powerful strategy. Some businesses like retail, obviously, they're not going to do that with everyone that comes through the checkout. So in those cases, I love an automated system. I think there's great value in using a platform. We have one at Whitespark. It's called Reputation Builder. And so here we can take your customer list, we load it up, it'll cycle through them, it'll send the review request, it'll send the follow-ups. You can send them by text or email. Then you can put it into a whole automated system. It has all kinds of reporting. That makes sense for that business. But really nothing beats this physical thing, and it's the cheap, easy way to do it. So that's my number one strategy for review acquisition.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. And you mentioned the automated strategy as well via email or text message. What a lot of businesses do, which is smart, they ask the client or customer, are you happy? First. Ask that first. Then when they say yes, they say, oh, can you leave us a review, right?
So if you only ask customers that are happy and you never ask customers that are unhappy, then they have a term for it at Google. It's called review gating. It's against the guidelines. Now, I will tell you, I've only ever heard of one time Google ever did anything about it. So they don't really care about that guideline too much. And I'll also tell you that there's an easy workaround. So basically, you can still do the thing. How was your experience? Happy face, sad face, right? You send them to one or the other, or you have like rated out of 5, and you can send the 4 and 5s to Google, and you can send the 3 or less to your feedback form. So you could do that, and that process is still really smart. The only thing you have to do to make sure you're still within the guidelines is that when you send them the 3 or less to the oh, we're really sorry you didn't have a great experience. We would love to hear more about it. You got a form. You just have to add a little link underneath there that says, or you could leave us a review on Google. As long as you have that link and you still make the Google review option available to the unhappy people, you are within the guidelines. So that's how you get around it.
Okay, interesting. So for smart marketers, especially when it comes to local SEO, what are you saying that people are neglecting because they're stuck in old SEO tactics? What are people missing out on, not paying attention to, that you find to be important?
Well, whenever I look at any search results in the Google business profile results, I'm always shocked to see how poorly optimized they all are. There's very few that are doing it well. And I would say the things that people sleep on heavily are category optimization. So finding the right additional categories you should be adding to your profile. Setting the wrong primary category is an absolute ranking killer. So finding the best one that closely matches the main terms you want to rank for. Like, I'll always give this example. A lot of businesses might set their primary category to be law firm. That is only helpful if someone says law firm Denver. That it's a terrible primary category because most law firms are specialized. They either are criminal defense attorneys, they're personal injury attorneys, they are bankruptcy attorneys. Make your primary category the closest match to what you want to rank for. And then building out your additional categories, a lot of people are missing that. They're not adding additional categories. Every time I look at profiles, I'm like, oh, I can't believe you don't have that category on your profiles. So adding those. Services section, for many years, we thought services didn't impact rankings. And so a lot of people kind of like, oh, there's this whole services thing in your Google business profile. They're not optimizing it. So build out your services section. Every service, have the service, the description, fill that out. Very valuable to give Google all that additional information. And then I think that the conversion factors are things that a lot of businesses aren't thinking. Like, for example, they will say, I'm not doing Google posts because I read a study in 2018 that said they don't impact rankings. So why would I bother? No one ever sees them. They're useless. That is a major fail, in my opinion, because while I would agree they don't get great visibility, they are getting visibility for your most valuable people. People are doing social posts. They're publishing posts to their Instagram, their Facebook, their TikTok, whatever, and they are absolutely sleeping on the opportunity. Those people on social are already fans of your brand. They're already following you. They've made the effort to follow you. And so the value of Google is so much greater, in my opinion, because while, yes, a lot of people aren't going to see those, but the people that do, that's a like captive audience of people that are looking for your services, your solutions. You can make a nice Google post that's selling your product, selling your service, and yeah, go ahead, keyword stuff it. It's not going to impact your rankings, so don't keyword stuff it. Write those posts to promote offers and specials and your specific services and what you do. Put some testimonials in there. Just like you're using that as like a massive conversion layer of Google posts. That is a slept on opportunity. Like, very few profiles are optimizing Google posts. And I'm not talking about optimizing for rankings. I'm talking about optimizing for conversions, because they are a dream when you get them.
Absolutely. And for a business that serves multiple locations, multiple areas, but they don't have multiple physical locations, and they only have one GBP, how would you recommend they target multiple location service?
I would tell them to give up. No, I'm not even joking. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to rank in the local results if you don't have a physical location there. That's just, proximity is such a strong signal in local rankings that if your business is 50 miles away, like your actual physical area is 50 miles away from the person searching in like a suburb, let's say, for example, you will never rank. You can forget it. You're never going to show up. Google doesn't want to show your business. They want to show businesses that are nearby. It's just like the further you get, the more impossible it is to rank. So the strategy would be, you got to open a new location. It's the only way. You want to get it. You want to rank in that suburb, must open a new location.
Definitely. When it comes to the GBP, location. And also, as you know, displaying your location is very important when it comes to, I've seen, when you look in the Google Map Pack, you'll see that most of the businesses that rank locally in their area are actually displaying their location. So I think hiding that is definitely problematic. Now, you speak about, and Whitespark offers citations, business directory citations, right?
Yes.
Quality citations. How important is that for local businesses?
Yeah, I would say it's not massive. It's a sort of a foundational piece. Every business should be distributed and should be present on the sites that Google and the large language models like ChatGPT and others are expecting to see your business. So it's sort of like this really critical piece. We talked earlier about how in the early days of local SEO, you can just make this one change and kaboom, you would just like absolutely dominate the rankings. That used to be true with citations because most small businesses weren't even thinking about local search at that time. And so it was a huge, easy win to just go and build 100 citations and win their local pack. You would be at the top of the pack because you were the only one that had done this. These days, it's like, doing it usually will not have this massive impact and get you ranking, but not doing it will hurt you. So it's almost like this foundational piece. You have to fill that gap so that you are on par with the rest of the businesses. And you also want to be able to distribute yourself. So if your only presence on the internet is your website and your Google business profile, Google is like, I'm not even sure if you're a real business. I don't see you on Yellow Pages. You don't have a listing on Yelp. You are not present on the Better Business Bureau. It's just like, maybe you're not for real. And so this is why it's really important to build out those citations. But
Exactly.
are they going to get you ranking overnight? 100% no. But it's just like a critical piece of local search. And this, I think, becomes even more important in the era of AI search, like just being present on all of these places. So I would say you got to get the top 20 most common big business directories, Yelp, Yellow Pages, for example, Better Business Bureau. And then really look for those industry specific directories. So if you're a plumber, you're looking for home services directories. If you're a lawyer, there's like 10 really good legal directories, best lawyers, super lawyers, these sites. You want to be present on those industry specific sites. And so I think it's quite critical, but it's in today's era of local SEO, by doing it, you should not see some massive ranking boost by doing it. But not doing it, you're hurting yourself.
Right. And to your point about Google not being sure if a business is even legitimate because they lack citations, yeah, I've seen it many times where, a lot of business owners complain about the process of verification with the Google business profile.
Right.
I've seen it in a lot of cases where if you have those citations, if you're using, a domain for your particular brand email, when you create the Google business profile, right, your domain email, and if you have those citations, you have all the signals, Google will just skip the verification for you and auto verify you.
It's the dream. Yes, the holy grail of local search is to create a new Google business profile and not have to go through the painful video verification. And you just described the process. You lay the groundwork before you create your Google business profile, and then your verification options will be much greater. So make sure you connect your website to Google Analytics, Google Search Console. You've built out your citations on the prominent places. And I have another little bonus trick for that. Before you go to create your listing on Google, have someone else do it. So in Google Maps, some random person can just go like, hey, you're missing this business. I know that this business exists. Like, you get your brother to do it or something, right? He goes to Google Maps and he says, add a business on Google Maps. Is added by like a member of the Google community has created this business. Then get a couple of reviews on that listing that it's currently unclaimed. Now, when you finally go to create your Google business profile, Google is like, well, they got a website. They're connected in our ecosystem through analytics and console. They're on all of the directories I would expect to find them on. Somebody already told us that this business exists. And look, they're already getting reviewed. This is definitely a legit business. Your verification option will be like text message or sometimes just instant or even phone number. So this is like people need to know this, because so many people, what they do, new business, step one, they go to Google, they make a Google business profile. Google is like, I see no evidence of this business, prove it. And then you got to do the video. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. So what's one thing, Darren, that you think Google themselves should fix for local businesses? What's one complaint that you have about Google? I'm sure you might have many, but I narrow it down to one.
Number one for me is immediately obvious, and I have an instant answer. It is fake reviews. It is unbelievably awful. I talked about earlier about how important reviews are for rankings and conversions, and everyone knows it. So what do? They buy fake reviews. And especially you'll see this really heavily in legal, in in really competitive spaces, you will see the amount of fake reviews flooding Google is just out of control. I looked at a business today that's getting like 40 new reviews per week. And then you look at the reviews and you can tell. I just use my eyes and my brain and I'm like, these are all fake. And you can tell immediately. If I can tell with my eyes and brain, you don't think the brilliant engineers at Google could solve this problem? So it's like, I cannot believe how awful the fake review situation is in Google. People are manipulating it, and Google, get your stuff together, because it's like, you need to fix this, because it's actually eroding trust in Google's entire ecosystem. It's like, how could I even use Google if I can't trust the reviews on it? So I think it's a major problem for Google. They absolutely need to fix that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I actually made a video about that. Not only that, but fake bad reviews are a problem as well. You may have heard about competitive sabotage. You may have heard about the people being blackmailed, based on people leaving them, bad reviews. So that's definitely an issue, and trying to figure out why Google is still letting that slide, and has been for so long. Well, Darren, it was definitely a pleasure having you. You're certainly knowledgeable, and this was definitely an insightful conversation. Can you tell the viewers how they can find you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm on all the socials. So if you're interested in following my educational content, you can find me on the LinkedIn. That's probably my biggest channel. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Threads. I'm on all the places. So you can find my social content everywhere. Just look up Darren Shaw SEO. And then please check out our website at whitespark.ca. That's where you can follow our written content in our blog and our resources. The local search ranking factors is there. And you will also find there the very best software and services for local SEO. So if you'd like some help with this, we are good at it.
All right, Darren, whitespark.ca. Everyone go into the description box. You'll see the information there to reach out to Darren or to Whitespark in general. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me, Caleb. It was a pleasure chatting with you.